The Dead Speak! And welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Greyboy podcast. Quick warning, this will be pretty heavy when it comes to cursing. We have some strong opinions. We will be talking about Star Wars Episode 9-ish, The Rise of Skywalker. It is I, Super Kami Will, and for the first time, I am joined today by...
the one and only B-Rad Brendan.
Yeah, so Gene, I don't remember what his nickname is. He is not on this podcast today because he's not really a Star Wars fan like us.
That's his loss. Yeah, Star Wars. I love a little Star Wars.
Yeah, his lore is mostly Sword Art Online. Like that's the thing that he's a huge, like, you want to ask Sword Art Online questions, that's him. But we are the Star Wars guy.
The one and only Star Wars guys.
More specifically, of course, me.
Of course. You know that guy Kevin Smith? Yeah, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, we promise we won't cry on this podcast. Well, maybe Brendan will, because I know he's a huge fan.
We'll get into that another day. That is not the case. I promise you.
Rise of Skywalker, we watched it opening night.
We did.
And it was crowded, if I remember right.
I think it was fully packed, because I remember I ordered our tickets probably a week out, and at that point there were only a handful of seats left, and luckily I got those two.
Yeah, we got the best seats.
We got the two best seats in the house, two seats that were kind of off to the side by themselves.
No, in the front, actually. So
in the front, yes.
If you want to see The Rise of Skywalker in that movie theater, and you were handicapped, we actually bought those tickets.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, I wear glasses, so it's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, my foot hurts sometimes.
Yeah, I hurt my foot once. So,
but I think by the time the movie came out, by the time we got there, I think it was fully packed. I don't think there was an empty seat.
Well, I mean, everyone likes to watch it, you know.
Yeah, and everyone loved to laugh at it with us.
Yes, there was a lot of laughter,
and
especially at moments that were not...
Not at the funny parts.
No. I mean, there was some funny parts that laughed. People laughed.
Yeah.
A lot of the Poe stuff.
The Poe stuff, 3PO got his laughs.
Did he?
Kind of. Some people chuckled at his jokes. I think only one kind of landed with me, and that was pushing it.
I don't remember 3PO's laughs.
But when people laughed, it wasn't at stuff that was supposed to be funny. It was actually dramatic things.
So let's just do a quick rundown. I did not like The Force Awakens. I'm not really a J.J. Abrams fan. I thought The Force Awakens felt like a reboot to me with bland characters. The only character I liked in that movie was Finn. I had a lot of high hopes for him.
I agree with Finn.
The Last Jedi came out. The Last Jedi to me has one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars with Yoda and Luke. And it has Canto Bight, which is maybe I think it is the most unwatchable scene in Star Wars.
I think so. I don't even think Episode 9 has anything worse than that.
Besides
the whole movie.
Yeah. So what did you think of the movies?
All right. So when The Force Awakens came out, to tell the truth, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. Absolutely not. That is far from the truth. It was never even near the top when I first saw it. When it came out, I enjoyed it.
Did you have a J.J. Abrams poster in your room? Like with hearts around it?
Man, you were just gonna...
Yeah. I know
you're gonna take this to your grave.
You wore a lot of lipstick. There were kiss marks on the poster. I was like, oh, it's like...
Yeah, and the movie came out. I bought the entire Lost collection on DVD.
I bet you did.
Watched all the Star Trek movies.
Are you a Lost fan? Be honest.
Not at all. I never watched a single episode.
You don't watch a single episode of Lost?
I never watched an episode of Lost, and I've never been a Trek fan. I never really got into that franchise, so I don't even know.
Until J.J.
Nope, never did. But we're getting off track. Episode 7, it came out. I did enjoy it a lot. As time went on, I realized I liked it for what J.J. tried to make it to be, a nostalgia-filmed film. That's film. All it was. It was just complete fan service. Last Jedi came out, and I really enjoyed it. Most people did not. They didn't like it because it went completely against Episode 7, and it changed all these things. But I kind of liked that. It was nice to see something that was a little... different. I wouldn't call it refreshing, but I liked different. I liked he was trying to do different things with it. He subverted expectations, which most people didn't like, but I thought it was good. I loved that Rey was a nobody. I liked that she didn't have to be a part of one of these families.
You mean a Palpatine?
Whoa, guy. Maybe let's not get there yet. Spoilers much.
Well, it's been like... What? Oh, no, not a month.
It's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, if you haven't watched this movie...
More likely, if you didn't see everything on Reddit before the movie came out, that's on you.
If you didn't watch the movie, mid-October online.
Exactly. But overall, I liked the movie. I liked that it changed things up.
The Last Jedi, not...
The Last Jedi, yeah. The Last Jedi. This came out, and we both walked out just laughing at its misery.
I remember, and this is the only time I've ever said this in a Star Wars movie theater, But I remember being in that movie theater. Towards the end, right before, right when they got to Exegol, I think I turned to you. I was like, I think I'm done. Like, I'd be okay if if it ended right now.
You were out early.
Yeah.
And I didn't say it, but I think every Star Wars fan that agrees with us about this film, early on, their thought must have been, I have a really bad feeling about this.
I did. Well, I mean, the opening crawl.
The opening crawl was enough to stand up.
When that did speak, I was so confused. I just assumed I missed something.
That was the first thing you said. You said, what movie did we miss? Episode 9
Little did we know at the time that we actually just missed a Fortnite video that explained all this.
We did, and that's on us.
Yeah.
You know, we made a mistake at not joining on the Fortnite.
Yeah, I'm not a Fortnite guy.
Neither am I.
But, so the opening crawl starts. We get a long... I was so confused by it. Palpatine's just back. He sent out a message to people letting everyone know he's back. I don't understand why.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why let everyone know you're back? Why not just do what you want to do without letting people know and give chance for people to escape their planets or,
yeah, it was weird.
Fight back.
It starts out then, the actual movie starts out. And I think this is the first of the Skywalker saga movies where it didn't open on a ship. It opened on a fight. Like, they showed the planet and then went right down to the fight.
Yes. The first scene was Mustafar, correct?
Yes.
With Kylo Ren. So it didn't
and the Knights of Ren!
Of course, the one and only Knights of Ren. My favorite boy band. Yeah, I believe it did start on Mustafar. It showed Kylo Ren killing a bunch of, Mustafarians. Just, doing their thing, getting killed by him.
Well, I think my favorite part of that was that they let us know it was Mustafar
by not saying it on the screen.
By not saying it, and then showing us all the thick, vegetation that we saw in the Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, because, you and I, we've seen Revenge of the Sith multiple times.
Yeah.
How could you forget all the trees in the background when Anakin and Obi-Wan were fighting?
God, this movie was fucking...
Don't you remember when Anakin jumped over the grass hill and then rolled down in the grass?
Yeah.
Decapitated?
Yeah, and then he fell into the rose bushes so bad that they had to cut off his arms. This movie was fucking stupid.
It was so bad.
Even the fan service to me is just terrible. Like, hey, everyone, it's Mustafar in Darth Vader's castle. If you close your eyes, let that blurry thing in the background behind the trees.
Or if you spend $25 to buy the book, you can see, maybe a picture of the castle that may or may not have even...
No, that picture from the book was just from Rogue One.
I think that was just Rogue One. They just kind of put that in there.
So, Mustafar, and he's out looking for a not holocron.
It wasn't a holocron?
It was not.
I don't understand.
It is a wayfinder.
It was clearly a holocron.
Even the names, like everything about this,
wayfinder.
It sounds like a fan fiction. Like he's finding something to find the way. A wayfinder.
If you want to make something called a wayfinder, make it something that looks a little bit different than a holocron. It was the same fucking shape.
I know. And it's like, and again, it's just, the whole movie. It's like, how does he know about this holocron? How does he know where it is? He just knows. The homeworld of the Sith.
Yes, Exegol.
Exegol. Not Morban or Korban.
Hey,
Exegol.
That's your problem if you think that's what it is.
In the Outer Rim.
Is that a tear I see?
It is. Of anger. So he goes there, and he's walking around. You get we finally got our Snoke background. It's like, look at that vat. It's just like an alien resurrection.
Yes, so Kylo gets to the planet, ignites his lightsaber immediately, just to remind us that he has that pretty wizard lightsaber that's so unique
and cackling.
And
So he goes in the cube. You see.
He hears Palpatine's voice once he gets in there. You see large statues of what I would imagine would be different Sith from over the years. No Sith Binks, but maybe that's for another time.
He's not dead yet.
Well,
no
you're
one
right.
knows. He's still secret.
Maybe he was in that large crowd.
No. So he finds Palpatine. He's like attached to a machine.
Yes.
He looks pretty good.
Yeah, looked fine.
He's like blind.
Yeah, clearly.
Messed up hands.
We still don't even know 100% if this is the same physical Palpatine that fell down the Death Star. It's implied that it's not, but why? I think so. I think it was implied through Mary from Lord of the Rings. Something he said, which was a throwaway line, implied that he may have been...
a throwaway character.
Yeah, of course. I think it may have been implied.
Yeah, it's not really confirmed where he is, how he got there. That's gonna be obvious. The whole movie is like, hey, get ready to read books and comics.
Exactly. And there were books that were made before this we didn't even know about.
So he snaps his finger. A huge Sith fleet pops up out of nowhere.
Yes.
I don't think we look inside yet. Like we don't see the Sith troopers or anything till later.
No, that's
You
much
just see the
later.
ships.
Kylo and
Did they blow
Palpatine
up
just...
a planet right then and there?
No, that was later.
That's
Kylo
later
and
too?
Palpatine just quickly talk to each other. Kylo's like, I'm going to
Rey.
kill you. And then Palpatine's like, no, let me give you everything. All I want you to do is kill the girl.
Yeah, which is weird because at that point he's like, why would I just kill you now and take everything? Like I don't know. No one. It doesn't make sense.
No sense.
The movie's stupid. It's fucking stupid. So then we go to Not Hoth, floating in space, where we have the introduction of the main three characters: Poe, Rey, and Finn.
No, we don't get Rey yet.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. You just get Poe, Finn.
We get Poe, Finn on the
Chewie.
Falcon with Chewie, R2, and a giant slug
Yes.
that has a name but is never said. Or
Yeah. So they found there's a mole in the First Order who's feeding them information. A mole. The First Order comes, attacks them. Then they escape. They do something called a hyperspace skipping.
Yeah, I think it light speed skipping.
Yeah.
So somehow instead of just using light speed to go from the planet they're on back to the Resistance base, they make about 4 or 5 pit stops along the way.
Yeah. I think the idea is that, like in the last movie, that they're being tracked. They can track you from TIE fighters now, maybe.
I guess so.
So they fight them off. Heroes win, yay! And then you go to Rey training.
Yes, we get her training in what looks like she looks like an atom because she has the rocks spinning around her as if she's a molecule.
Looks like okay.
And she's just whispering to nobody. She's just saying, "Be with me."
No, she's nobody.
Be with me. She is nobody. That's the canon. She's nobody.
She's nobody.
Everybody remember that.
Just like this movie, it's nothing. So she's training. She's calling Leia Master Leia. So it's now Leia.
Leia is now finally a Jedi.
I know it was in the books they talked about it, but not really in the movies. Like there was the space scene with her in the last movie, but in this movie, it's like she is not a fully trained Jedi, but she did train at one point.
She did train. Jedi. Yes. So this is the first time we actually really see that she, can use the Force and is capable enough of training someone.
Yeah. And this movie takes place 6 months, by the way, after.
Yeah. So this whole trilogy takes place over the course of 6.5 months.
Yeah.
Basically.
So she's training. This is all for an excuse later why she has the power she has.
Yes. We did both agree we liked that Leia being Rey's master was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I didn't. I know a
nice
lot
change
of
of
people
pace.
didn't like the dialogue. Like they felt like, and I guess I can see it. In the movie theater, I didn't really notice anything. Like I know it's just we used footage, I think, from The Force Awakens.
Later on, I noticed it. Not so much the first viewing, but I guess over time I realized, that just didn't add up.
I guess they wrote around her what dialogue.
They did what they could. That was
just.
It did work. It was just kind of unfortunate they were stuck in that scenario where they decided that each movie in this trilogy would focus on one of the original characters.
Yeah.
Had they focused on Leia in the first movie or the second movie, this wouldn't have happened.
It's just poor timing. So
Too much
I
drugs.
think I liked Leia in this movie. I think I would have preferred it if in the opening crawl they just said that Leia, after training Rey,
passed on.
I think it would have been better.
It could have worked. It could have worked. And you still could have had, we could have seen her as a Force ghost at some point or heard her voice. Yeah. It could have still been added in and it would have made sense.
But as we learn throughout this movie, J.J. Abrams like, no, I want to do my story, not anyone else's.
Yeah.
So they're training. Finally, the trio in this saga are together.
Had their first proper scene, other than the last scene in The Last Jedi.
Boy, are they catty.
They do not like each other one bit.
I know I'm confused by this because people are like, oh, I love it. It's just like the original trilogy. I'm like, I don't like Han and Leia kind of didn't like each other at the beginning. They didn't seem like they actively did not like. We spent time with each other and we still don't like each other.
Yeah, there's a difference between meeting someone for the first time and getting a bad impression of them, which is what Han and Leia had, and they had that funny bickering going on, which evolved
this
into
movie is
obviously
not funny
love.
bickering. It's just bickering.
They just do not like each other.
I didn't like hearing it, and then even Finn and Poe seemed like they had a lot of.
It's very strange because I feel like Finn is the middleman.
Yeah.
Rey likes Finn. For the most part, Poe likes Finn. Finn likes them both, but somehow as a trio, they're at each other's throats.
Yeah, it's a weird.
And you get these really aggressive threats out of nowhere. Poe is like, "You're wasting your time on this planet training. We need you up there."
Which I mean, they didn't need her up there. It doesn't make
It doesn't make.
anything.
What was she gonna do?
Yeah, just be a gunner. It doesn't stupid.
It doesn't add up.
Like be a friend to talk to. Like, hey, well, I maybe I can understand. Like, if I'm gonna die, I want my friends to die with me.
That's not what it was. It's not like friends arguing with each other saying, "Hey, I wish you were there with me." No, this is just you're getting on my last nerve.
Yeah, I didn't like seeing it. So throughout this, they're on the planet.
And let's keep in mind, somehow within 5 minutes, they all agree to go on their mission together, and it's all buddy-buddy at that point.
So I really, at this point in the movie, I was kind of getting bored. Like, I was really checked out.
It was pretty early on. You looked at me and you just said, how much longer is this?
They're on not Endor. That's all these planets. All these planets we're not going to tell them by the names. They're just like, they are not Morban. They are not Yavin 4. So I don't really remember, like, there was a few scenes where you were introduced to Mary from The Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry. There's a quarter of a second of a scene where you're introduced to Mary from The Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
There's a few scenes, like very, very few.
I would imagine
Rose.
Throughout the entire film, he probably got about 30 seconds of screen time.
Yeah, and maybe one full sentence.
Yeah.
So the movie goes back and forth on people like, oh, did he retcon some stuff from The Last Jedi? Whether some stuff you could say yes and no. The only definite yes that everyone agrees on is Rose was shafted.
Yeah, he threw Rose under the bus.
They had an engineer on the Falcon that wasn't her.
That's right.
Like, that was her one job in the last movie. Like, I'm an engineer. And this was like, we need an engineer. Not you.
I never thought about that. That would have been pretty cool if Rose was the one keeping the Millennium Falcon alive. Because, as we know, every movie, it almost gets destroyed.
Yeah, and it's always
Can you imagine if you saw her, like, running around saving the day?
But then they would have given her screen time, and clearly J.J. Abrams did not like her character.
No.
Or, I'm sorry, clearly J.J. Abrams did not think the fans liked her character. And obviously, they're the writers of this movie. So she is, I think in one scene, Finn is like, no, you could stay here.
He did.
Yeah, Finn basically is like, don't come with us. Like, he doesn't say it like that, but that he, like, stops.
Something that Finn wouldn't say, because they had a journey together on their own, and they definitely bonded. Finn would not say, no, you can stay here.
Yeah.
Finn was being, directed by J.J. Abrams, what to say.
So they tell her to, beat it.
Get lost.
So they leave to go to another not Tatooine. We'll call this not Tatooine 3, because we've had, like, so many not Tatooines at this point.
Yeah. The list goes on.
They go to another sand planet where there's a huge party going on. Almost like Woodstock or something.
Yes, and very little hint. C-3PO is the one that says, oh, this is the such and such festival, which only happens every 42 years. Someone was able to point out that 42 years ago, A New Hope came out.
Really?
Yeah, that's J.J. Way's way of saying, hey, remember that movie?
So I'm supposed to watch A New Hope now and be like, I think there's a party going on at some planet far, far away.
That's exactly what happened. Yes, far, far away.
Can you believe people think he's a bad storyteller?
He's a genius.
So, they're on this planet. The First Order find out that they're looking for the Wayfinder.
Relatively quickly.
Second Wayfinder.
Relatively quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole movie takes place in, I think they said 16 hours?
Yes, because when they find out the Emperor is blowing up the galaxy...
people just know other people are doing things. It's very weird. It's like they're all on like a linked call or email tag.
Not alone did Palpatine let the whole galaxy know he was going to destroy the galaxy. He must have said, you have 16 hours. Goodbye.
Yeah, maybe. So they know that they're there. They're looking for a Wayfinder.
Yes.
Another Wayfinder.
Not a holocron.
I'm sorry. Another not holocron.
They're looking for some type of MacGuffin that will lead them to this holocron.
A dagger. I don't get this trilogy's obsession with physical weapons. In each movie, there's been staffs, swords, axes, knives, now daggers. I don't get the point of it.
This is a galaxy with lightsabers and blasters.
They get the job done. They're taking a long time ago, a little bit too far now. It's ridiculous. I can't take it. So they're looking for a dagger in this movie with lasers, and Jedi Hunter, some whole story about Luke. Again, it's another thing where you're like, okay, I'm sure there's gonna be like a book or something later.
Yeah. Somehow Luke was looking for this MacGuffin 10 to 15 years ago and couldn't find it.
Yeah. So
then just gave up on life.
So you meet Lando in this scene, and he is still cool as fuck.
He hasn't changed one bit.
He is still as smooth as ever. Like,
absolutely.
I know he went through like a workout to be in this movie. He did not lose. When it comes to like the actual character, it's the exact
same. Didn't skip a beat.
I loved it. I know, it was amazing.
And he gave a great line, knowing that his friend Han must be dead. He must know that by now.
Mm-hmm.
he very sexually says, "Give Leia my love."
Yes! Oh, I remember being in the movie theater and laughing at that.
That's the joke I want. That's what I like.
I think, oh yeah, so that happens. Brendan watched this movie twice. I only watched it once.
I did. I wound up seeing it a couple of weeks later.
There's a lot more of like little things that you notice.
I might have caught little things, yeah.
So...
I'm dedicated.
Yes. Well,
to JJ, clearly.
Huge JJ. You had that tattoo, right? Where you just have JJ ripped
Yeah, just JJ, right above my heart.
No, yeah, I thought each nipple's a JJ.
Oh, okay, yeah. You knew the truth. I didn't want to spoil that for everyone.
So,
leave some things to the imagination.
Yes. You don't even want to know where Abrams is written. So, then they go out in the desert. They're being chased by not speed bikes, like these weird treadmills?
I guess. It looks like a tank.
Yeah,
that's able to roll in the sand.
And they jump so that they could throw rocket troopers off.
They don't just jump. They fly now, Will.
Yes, they fly too. Well, no, I mean, I am happy that, we've had airborne troopers in extended universe stuff for both the Sith, for the clones and the Empire. So finally we have a jet trooper on
canon.
Screen, yes. And, skip for me. This scene was terrible. It wasn't my favorite. They're in these weird, like, not Jabba barge sails.
They were just mini Jabba barges.
Yeah, so they're running through the desert.
I mean, they're on Tatooine 3, so there obviously would be a Jabba barge 1.5.
It was. I didn't like the CGI for the jet troopers.
You did or did not?
I didn't. I thought they looked a little weird.
I suppose.
This
was one of many scenes in this movie where there's supposed to be action and suspense, and there wasn't a single moment I was like, oh boy, I wonder what's going to happen.
I don't even think it was suspense. I think it's just like a fun, like, hey, there's like the first action scene with the main.
That's
with all the characters.
Yeah, there were other suspense scenes that didn't land with me. This was supposed to be a fun scene that I couldn't really enjoy.
I'm sorry, I'll give it that. It was a fun scene, I guess. I just was like, okay. Because I guess I went into this a little negative, the movie.
Oh, we both definitely did.
Yeah, I just heard how long it was. I mean, the leaks for this movie, we'll talk about that later. The leaks for this movie were just outrageous. Like, just the whole thing was, no. So after they beat the jet troopers and the bikers?
Weird bike
They find the ship. There's nothing there. I'm just going to speed through this a little bit because it's just kind of boring stuff. They fall into a cave.
Yeah, they fall in like a sinkhole.
Yeah.
And the real ship is underneath there, or
not a ship, but there was like a
his speeder.
Yeah.
Is found underneath there.
The first they meet a snake, a giant snake.
Giant snake. It's ready to attack them.
Yeah, and then they notice that it's like has a flesh wound. Don't know what's from what.
You don't even see that at first. Ray's just like, oh, it's wounded.
And then they show
Ray just calms it down, then sees the wound.
Super OP power of she drains, and they never explain this really. She drains her life force.
I don't think she says she drained. She says I shared a bit of my life force.
I don't know if it's like life force is in like her energy, or she sacrificed
or she's just using the force in general.
Well,
because the force surrounds us and penetrates us.
But she said her specific life force, so I don't know if that means like her actual like time on.
Did her health bar like drop down to like 95? Was it at a full 100?
So she revives it, and then the snake falls in love and leaves it and lets them go free.
And when he leaves, he happens to open up the escape.
I'm waiting for more Rule 34 out on that. I'd watch that. Where like he swallows and like pushes on the inside.
Tell me when. Keep me updated.
So they find the dagger there, just total like whoa.
Right on the floor too, like oh look there it is.
Yeah, the middle part of the movie's a lot like oh this is just here. So they do that. She gets out. First order's there. You get the scene from the trailer with the Kylo Ren's TIE interceptor right going after her. She cuts it in half. Don't know what either one of them was doing. Like did he really want to just like splatter her against his windshield?
I don't know what his plan was.
Later on, though, we found out he just wants to splatter inside her.
Oh!
So, they get out. Chewie does some weird thing where they're running to the ship, and then Chewie's like, no, I'm going to run in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, they were all getting on the ship, and then I guess she sensed Kylo Ren was coming.
Yeah,
so she said
go with... The person's on acid, he just runs around, like, running, chasing rabbits.
She's like, you guys go ahead, I'll catch up. So, and then she's gone for too long.
Yeah, off screen, Chewbacca leaves the main group and gets captured.
Yes, then, by the Knights of Ren.
There's a shuttle escaping, and Rey and Kylo force tug of war it.
Yes.
And then out of nowhere, Rey uses Sith lightning. on it and blows it up. And there's a huge... I was in the movie theater so happy. Not because Chewbacca died, but I was like, whoa, this is like so unexpected.
This is something unexpected. This is what we wanted.
Like, how are they going to deal with this? Because Rey was talking in the movie about how she feels the call to the dark side.
Yeah.
She doesn't know, like... What, like,
I forget if it was before or after that scene with Chewbacca. She talked to Finn that she had a vision. She was sitting on the Sith throne with Kylo Ren.
I think that's later.
Okay.
So,
but she did say something beforehand. She felt the call.
That happens, then she...
That was a shock. It was like, oh my god, he's just dead.
Yeah, well, it's... So, I'll talk about it later. So, then they escape, and they head over to some shitty planet.
I'm trying to remember that. Okay, yes. Okay, I got you. That's where they go... Poe says he knows someone who can decode.
Yeah, so
who can mess with C-3PO. C-3PO knows what it says.
Yeah, the Sith dagger.
The Sith dagger. It's written in the language of the Sith. He's like, I know what it says, but my programming won't let me speak it out loud.
Yeah.
So they figure out someone.
Stupid.
Like, it's kind of stupid. If he knows it, he should be able to say it.
Yeah, I don't.
There should have been some way they could work around that.
To do that, it doesn't make sense. It's whatever. So they go to this planet. It's they show a little bit of, and it is a callback. A straight rip-off of just the scenes with the stormtroopers going from door to door.
Yep.
And like,
this one's locked.
Move
on to the next one.
So
we both waited for that. I said it as a joke to you, and then we got it, and we both kind of...
Yeah.
We didn't smile out of the nostalgia. We smiled at the, they're really trying so hard.
I mean, this movie is full of just, like, ripped dialogue from the original movies.
Yes.
Like, we'll talk about it later, Palpatine. Like, he's just,
Palpatine's second line was... Palpatine's second line was from the prequels.
Yeah, so they do that, then they meet...
Carrie Russell's character, I do not know her name.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter.
I don't think anyone listening knows her name.
She is...
JJ, what's her name?
Yeah.
Do you know? I doubt it.
He really... all that meant was... JJ, please call me. I want to call you. I want to talk to you.
I want to talk, please.
So, she's there. She reveals that Poe was once a spice smuggler.
Yes.
And for some reason, like, to me, this was like okay.
That was just like Han Solo was a smuggler. Yeah, okay, you're just going that way.
This was like I can't believe you smuggled spice. I'm like, whoa, it's not children, you guys.
Yeah, it's not like he killed children or something.
Yeah,
they like really...
smuggling spice, who cares?
And then it just went back to that trio banter. They're like, you smuggled spice? And he's like, weren't you a stormtrooper?
Yeah,
You smuggled spice?
Like,
weren't you a lowly scavenger? Leave me alone.
They really focus on it for some reason.
They really just get mad at each other over the dumbest things.
It's stupid. I didn't like it. So they have a history.
Yes, Carrie Russell and Poe, which may or may not have a super strong history. It's
you could take it or leave it. It didn't matter to me really much.
It didn't affect me. It was just like, okay, like,
They meet. what's his name?
Babu Freak.
Yes.
Who most people seem to love, and I don't get it. He's cute enough, but it's just...
He looks like a little old person.
It's just... I think I would have needed more of him to appreciate him.
No, I didn't need more. This movie had too many characters. I didn't need any more.
There was, the two new characters that were put into this that were adorable.
Yeah. So,
no good.
The whole scene with the trailer, with, R2-D2, or C-3PO saying, goodbye to my friends.
Yes.
It's really... not emotional.
It's really just, goodbye, I'll talk to you in 20 minutes.
Not only that, because the whole movie before this, they are shitting on him
hard.
Like, it's not like, oh, C-3PO is so annoying. It's like, shut up, C-3PO, why are you talking to me?
Yeah, it's not the original trilogy, or even the prequel trilogy, like, where C-3PO is like annoying, but you tolerate...
It's like someone who doesn't understand social interactions watching Empire, like, oh, they're really mean to C-3PO. That's funny. It's like...
That's exactly what it was.
That's not really what that's like.
No, they weren't.
It's like, shut up, C-3PO, would you shut up? And then at one point it's like, oh, if I do this, you're going to have to wipe my memories, and you're going to be effectively killing me.
And they were like, thank God.
So?
What's the problem?
They're like, I don't understand. Rey's the only one who's kind of like, do you want to do this? But, like, Poe Dameron, who's the only person who's been with him the longest, is like...
Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye, I guess,
like,
okay.
Hurry up already.
Yeah, like, you're wasting my time here, buddy.
Yeah. Like in The Force Awakens, the first scene with 3PO was with Leia and Han Solo. He kind of just pops out. He's like, oh, look, Han Solo. Do you remember me? The whole red arm thing?
Reliving the glory days, Brendan, aren't you? Just talking about The Force Awakens.
But at least that scene worked. He popped up. They both kind of looked at him like, not now. And he walked away.
Yeah.
If that were this movie, the two of them would be like, get the fuck out of my face, you fucking irrelevant being.
Yeah, it really is a lot of C-3PO hate up till this point.
Yes.
So he does the Sith thing. I don't even remember. He says something like it leads him to the Death Star. Like
he does speak in the Sith language. Babu Freak wipes out his memory and reprograms him, and he it's very brief. He says something along the lines of the The Wayfinder is located on the Death Star on... I don't even think he says it that specifically.
It's not like, So,
but somehow they know where to go.
Yeah.
He gives them enough, they're like, okay.
So, at this point...
And then he passes out.
Yeah, at this point, they decide... so first, they decide they're going to leave now. They're going to go back. They want to save Chewie. Because I think Kylo Ren shows up.
But at this point, they were getting ready to leave. They saw Kylo Ren's ship. They're like, Rey was like, let's just get the knife. Even though they don't need the knife, somehow she's like, the knife is important.
Yes.
It's a MacGuffin. You don't understand. It's going to matter later.
So, while this happens, Flash, cut to Kylo Ren on the Resurgence class Star Destroyer. They kind of just drop like, hey, there's Chewie. Put him in the holding cell.
They really did. Like, the new general in this movie was like, I heard that we lost the ship. And then Hux was like, that's fine because what we really need is on this new one.
We haven't talked a lot about the First Order. So there's
nothing to talk about.
Yeah, well, there's the First Order, who's kind of like whatever, and then there's the Second Order, which is the Sith.
It's the Final Order.
Yeah, the Final Order. I'm sorry,
if you're going to talk about it, you need to get it right.
I didn't watch the movie twice. So there's the Second Order. The Final Order.
How could you forget the Final Order? You laughed at that name.
I laughed at the whole movie. I don't remember every scene.
What a comedy.
So Chewbacca's alive. The First Order.
Yes.
They're kind of just governing now. That's what's hinted at with the meeting room.
It's less of them taking over, and they're just kind of running.
In the past 6 months, they've kind of been just conquering systemized the system. So General Hux is kind of like a whip dog. Like he's kind of looking down, doesn't speak. And then the new, is he a Moff?
Maybe.
I don't know if he's General Admiral Moff. I'm not sure what his title is, but he's the new big guy in charge besides Kylo.
He basically took over for Hux, it seems. Probably over just his failures over the first two movies.
Yeah, it seemed like maybe Hux was like...
He was a bitch.
Yeah.
And they were like, no.
But I didn't hate him in The Last Jedi. But so he's kind of... So the general tells him, Chewie's alive, put him in the holding cell. It's assumed that he's tortured, I think.
Yeah, I think he was going to be tortured, but I don't think it got that far.
Yeah.
I think they said bring him to torture cell, and I don't even think he got tortured.
So Kylo Ren knows that she's heading towards this planet. Just, I think, the feeling... Because the whole movie, they're, doing the Force, where they're touching each other, what they did in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, they just continued.
Yeah, which is confusing because in The Last Jedi, I always, when she closes the door on the Falcon...
It seemed like they implied that they're closing each other off from each other.
Well, not that they're closing each other off, it seems like she shuts him out.
She shuts him out.
So, that doesn't happen.
This technically happens in the first scene of the movie when Rey is training.
Yes.
He kind of seems to control the little...
Yeah, it hasn't been that important up until now.
The whole movie hasn't been important up until now.
Well, the whole movie hasn't been important up until the ending. So, he knows that she's on that planet. He goes there, and when he goes down, they go up.
Yeah, somehow they miss each other, but he goes to search the city.
Because Kerry Russell's character has a general's or captain's
She has
medallion.
some type of captain's patch or medallion,
and
this
somehow gets you anywhere.
Somehow that gets you anywhere. It's not like
you're not questioned at all. You just get to go places now.
Yeah, it's not like they would open the door and be like, "Let me see who you are with this captain's badge." Oh, you're a rebel guy. We're gonna stop you right here. You think there would be a code like in the other movies?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
It's even if it was an older code, it still checks out.
Yeah, but this is just and then even in that movie, it's it's an older code. It's a code that they use, and it's on an Imperial shuttle.
Yes.
This one, it's if I got into a taxi and I drove up in a Hawaiian t-shirt to a military base. It was yep, Colonel over here. So why don't you open those bad boys up? So they go up to the ship. They're searching. At that point, then she finds out that Chewie's alive, and they split up on the ship. She goes for the dagger. They go to rescue Chewie.
Yep.
And they are running down. They are in the middle of a Star Destroyer, and they are running in the middle of a hallway, blowing anyone in front of them away.
Yeah.
There is not this movie.
It could literally just, ironically enough, it could have been a janitor like Finn.
Yeah.
They're dead.
For Poe, Finn, for this movie, they have no obstacle in their way. They just do anything they do. They just succeed immediately.
Immediately. The one failure comes about a minute after. Is all of a sudden Poe gets shot in the shoulder, completely fine.
Yeah.
We're led to believe for about 5 seconds he could be seriously injured or dead.
When they were captured, I seriously thought Captain Phasma was going to walk out. I was like, this is
It was only... I can't believe he didn't bring her back.
I know.
He really easily could have.
I think it really ate him inside, too. That interview where he's like, that's the one thing I can't believe in the last show. I'm like, that one?
That of all things. Yeah, that was just
You didn't treat her any better than he did.
No, this was Phasma was his Boba Fett, but worse than Boba Fett.
Because he intended her to be like Boba Fett, where it's like, she doesn't speak much, she doesn't do anything, but she looks cool. And it's like, she's in a silver stormtrooper outfit. It's not that cool.
It's not that ironic. You know, iconic, excuse me.
Yeah, it's not at all. No. I think she'll be forgotten. I know she had a book. I don't care. I'm not reading it.
I don't think anyone really read it.
Well, no, it's not that I have no problem with it. It's just like, I have no interest
the actress, I mean, she was great on... Yeah, she's great.
As, what's it? It doesn't matter. No, it's a good So
good actress, bad character.
Yeah.
Same with Rose.
Yeah.
Good actress,
bad
character.
On her part. Like, she did everything.
She did nothing wrong.
So I really expected her to come out, but they're captured, and then we get Rey is in Kylo Ren's, I guess, main room headquarters.
I guess it's not his bedroom, but it's like.
And then her and him fight
in
a lightsaber room, and with lightsabers, pulling each other into their own
realities in a way. Even though they're on,
So sometimes they'll be fighting on the ship, sometimes they'll be fighting on the surface.
Yep.
They interact with each other. He grabs the dagger out of her hand.
He does. He grabs the dagger, and then he can't figure out where she is. He assumes that she's just somewhere in the city.
Yeah.
And that he'll figure it out. And then what gives it away is they both swing at each other and miss, and they knock over the Vader helmet, and somehow the Vader helmet lands in the city where Kylo Ren is.
Yeah.
He looks, he sees it, he freaks out, he looks at a random stormtrooper that was probably just watching for fun. He was standing 10 feet away. He was probably like, everything okay? And then Kylo Ren was like, she's on my ship. We have to go back.
Will the stormtrooper see Rey? Like in the flickers when
that's a great question. I'm going to go with no. In my canon, he's just swinging his lightsaber at the air. And they're just this guy is he has done that. And they're just like, this guy is fucking nuts. Just like she's in his room, just attacking the air by herself.
She rescues the main crew. I was calling them the crew from now on. She rescues the crew. Kylo Ren goes up.
Well, we can't. We gotta backtrack.
I'm sorry.
Right before Finn, Poe, and Chewie are about to be shot to death, Hux grabs the gun from one of the soldiers. He's like, you know what? I want to do this myself.
At this point, super quick, you could see it coming a mile away.
As soon as he grabbed it, I was like, he's gonna do something.
I think it was as soon as Hux wanted to go with him. I was like, why do you care?
I was waiting for him to shoot the three of them and shoot himself in the mouth. But he shot the two or three stormtroopers that were there. They turned around in shock that they weren't shot themselves, and he's like, I'm the rebel spy. And then everyone got excited. It was like all of a sudden it didn't matter that he's obviously helped kill billions of people over the years. Billions. He blew up 5 planets in 5 seconds.
Well, as we know in this movie, that's unforgivable. So he kills them. He's like, and I do like the line of what do you say?
Poe all of a sudden out of nowhere kind of grabbed him and was like, why are you helping us? Finn.
I don't care who wins. I just want to see
Kylo Ren lose.
Which is a great line. It's so in
because they really did they really did hate each other.
Yeah,
all
I
3
really
films.
Liked it.
I like that he threw everything away just to watch his rival
skip ahead
suffer.
5 minutes. Next scene of him is he's like, "Hey, they escaped," and he gets shot, blown away by the new.
Yeah, right away. The other Imperial officer is smart enough to be like, "Oh, we found the spy."
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of hinting at it in the beginning of the movie when there's a spy in our midst. If you remember, he gives a quick look over to him.
He does. He kind of looks, and then there was something else. Kylo Ren said something to Hux like, "Does my helmet bother you?" I guess Hux looked uncomfortable in the room. And someone said something to him.
In the movie, so I'm glad that we shared that much with them. I liked Hux. A little bummed that's how I went out. I guess I don't know what they would have done with him in the movie. It's really hard to redeem someone that did that.
Yeah.
But so it's whatever to me. It's like okay, I accept it. True. So he kills him. The crew and Rey are escaping. Oh wait a second.
No, Rey doesn't interrupt.
We're on something.
What did we forget?
Dio.
Oh, Dio.
Yeah, yes. So they steal...
Before they go to the city planet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is bad on us. We've found Dio. It's
the whole movie. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So
we're just talking.
At some point, when they're going to...
The city planet. Get the... With Babu Freak.
They're in the Sith...
The Jedi Hunters. The Jedi Hunters. His ship.
His ship. It still works somehow. And
why wouldn't it?
A droid... There's a droid who was abused, and it goes to Rey is always nice to droids.
Yes,
it's a cute little relationship. I don't like Dio though.
I think I like Dio the first 10 seconds they showed him.
Well, you know why I like Dio? Because J.J. Abrams voiced him.
It adds up. Look at that.
I know.
I did know that. I did know that. But
you knew it in your heart. Oh,
yes, of course. Why wouldn't I?
You knew it in your nipples, not your heart.
I only like Dio's first line. He gets turned, BB-8, turns on his power. He kind of rolls around, and Rey goes to like touch him, just say hello, and he's like, no. Just the way he backed up at first, he was like, he didn't like it. It made me chuckle. But then he does that about 4 or 5 other times in the movie, and I was like, one was enough.
Yeah.
That's all.
So, Dio's with them.
But JJ would tell you, he's, this is greatest
I thought
creation.
we should mention it because he's never important throughout the rest of the movie. It's just
he's not.
Like, oh yeah, the Dio is a character too.
Along with BB-8.
Yeah.
A character that was very important in the first movie and the second movie is just there in the third.
Well, he's kind of just there in this one too.
That's what I'm saying. He was he was more important than the first two. This one, he's just in background shots.
Yeah. So they escape, and they're heading now towards the wreckage of the second Death Star.
Yes, the second Death Star.
And they go to...
where the war ended.
Yes. The true war.
Somehow they threw a line in there that the war ended on Endor, even though we were led to believe in The Force Awakens that the final battle between the Rebellion and the Empire was on Jakku.
Not Jakku. Not Tatooine 1.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I get these confused.
Yeah. So they go to where the Death Star had crashed, and it crashed on the ocean moon of Endor.
Okay. And not only did part of it crash.
No, like...
I'd say at least a quarter to a third of it is intact.
A third of it intact crashed. Like, structures on the inside are still there.
Something
and work.
Not only did it work, let's not forget, the second Death Star was larger than the first, correct?
Yes.
The first Death Star was the size of a small moon.
Yeah.
Let's assume that the second Death Star was the size of a moon. If a moon crashes onto another moon or another planet, that planet is gone.
I think
they are just exploding on each other.
Well, if you read the visual dictionary...
I didn't!
Yeah, I mean, this whole movie is really like, man, you really have to,
You have to pay money to buy our books and visual dictionaries to understand.
There's going to be some homework that you have to do later on for this movie to really make sense.
Yep.
So
excuse us for not knowing everything.
They go there. We have new side characters, number 3 and 4. But though at the, remember her name.
I can't rember her name. It doesn't matter.
The maybe not Lando's daughter.
Yes.
Or lover. I'm not sure.
We're going to call her Buck Teeth.
Yeah, she had buck teeth.
She had very bad Michael Strahan gap teeth. And
I know who that is.
He has a big gap between his teeth.
Is he a sports person?
He is a sports person.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's a TV personality. So Good Morning America.
Oh yeah, because I remember that too. So she is there. You find out, and then she's like, she's there and she's like dealing with Finn, like they're connecting because it turns out she and the members of her group are also former stormtroopers. They do this weird thing where it's like the Force convinced them to, like, they're like, oh, we were all ordered to execute these villagers, and then it was so beautiful, none of us shot. And it's like
there was no reasoning. It wasn't. It was.
It'd
be one thing if one of them was like, you know what, I'm not doing this, and then they were all like, you know what, he's
like
right,
one
or she's
person
right.
Threw down the gun and they all threw it down. This was like, no, none of us shot, and we all knew. And it's like, oh.
So you have 10 to 15 Force sensitive, stormtroopers in an entire, in a battalion.
So it's whatever. So we're gonna skip all like the getting there because it's just
it takes away from Finn's character, because Finn's character, like, we're led to believe, is the first stormtrooper possibly ever that was like, I'm not doing this.
Well, 6 whole months have passed, Brendan, in case you haven't noticed.
I'm going to break something.
They travel, they go to the Death Star, they cross the water, Rey climbs it, Rey leaves them.
Yep.
She does this stuff.
The plot basically said we have to wait till morning. The tide is too strong. The tide will cease.
You know in the original trilogy how like they all had to separate sometimes to do like missions, but it was all like to accomplish the greater goal. This movie is just like Rey, like, I have to do something. I don't want you guys coming.
Yeah. No. When they first leave together on the
you're
Falcon,
afraid they'll be
she says,
injured?
"I'm
like,
going. You're not coming with me." And the rest of them like, "Of course, but we're coming with you."
Yeah.
She doesn't want anything to do with them.
Yeah, it's not
because she's no one.
Yeah, it's just no. There's no real emotional, I feel like, connection between
Did I mention that she's nobody? Did we not mention the spoiler alert? We got to backtrack for a second here. Before Rey and the crew left that city planet when they got the dagger and Chewie back, her and Kylo had a little monologue.
Which one?
And Kylo Ren happened to mention, "Oh, I was right when I said your parents were nobody. It was your grandfather that was somebody."
Oh, yeah.
Your grandfather is, dun, 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 the Emperor.
He says it then?
That's when he says it.
Okay.
That's when she finds out.
Well, cool. So, she goes to
let everyone listening know, when our theater heard that, there was no like, oh my god, oh no. It was just like, okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of groaning.
A lot of groaning.
Yes.
2.5 hours of groaning. And one big laugh.
She's on the Death Star. She's walking down corridors. Maybe she dropped by the buffet area, picked up a snack. I don't know. Had a shower. So she's chilling out. She goes to the throne room. It's
with relative. Oh, we also have to discuss how she found the room. We can't forget. This is where the dagger comes into play.
What?
She lifts up the dagger. She holding it above her head.
Oh yeah, Willy Wonka.
And then she, exactly. She sees like there's a little button. So she pokes it with her finger, cuts her finger a little bit, and it opens up like this little ruler, this semicircle ruler.
Sort of like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Disk.
Exactly like that. And she basically starts looking at all the wreckage from miles away, starts moving it, and all of a sudden the shape of that little semicircle ruler and the design of the knife show her the exact chunk of the Death Star where this Wayfinder is. That's why she decides to go in such a hurry.
I mean, I love that callback to, the Goonies.
Who doesn't like the Goonies?
It made me think of happier times, like if I was watching the Goonies.
Or when you weren't watching that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she finds the throne room, and then in the throne room, just a panel opens up next to her. And there's a Wayfinder! Yay! It's there!
This panel that didn't happen to open up when Luke and Vader were fighting each other, arguably to the death.
Also, the throne
breaking
room,
shit everywhere.
The throne room really didn't look a lot like the throne room.
It was much smaller.
Yeah.
Because, originally we had the Emperor's chair, and then you had
a
whole freaking, banquet hall, basically, the size of it.
Well, maybe this is his second throne room.
Oh, he just had a backup throne room on the Death Star?
I mean, he had a backup Death Star.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, maybe he just had a backup room where maybe Luke and Vader fought in his non-smoking throne room.
It's the size of a moon. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 20 throne rooms.
I mean, you would want to see everything from every angle.
Maybe that was the throne room that was at that angle.
Maybe they're like, we're gonna have to turn the Death Star
for that. Filling in that pothole. So she's leaving, and then who shows up? Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren finds it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Somehow, Poe and Finn and those, other new...
They travel somehow.
The horses and everything. They didn't notice his ship come in, Maybe if they actually were friends, this new trio, maybe they would have, been able to communicate with each other and say, hey, I just saw Kylo Ren's ship. You better get out of there or get ready. No.
Well, I mean, this is Star Wars. They don't have that kind of technology. They have, daggers and staffs.
And bows and arrows. I'm sorry, everyone. Please.
And horses.
And horses.
So,
and let's not forget what happens when Rey goes into that room.
What room? Oh, what happens?
She sees a dark version of herself.
Yes.
She finds the Wayfinder, she picks it up, and she kind of stands there for a second thinking something's going to happen. She turns around, and we see the Rey with the cloak on that we see in the trailers.
Yeah, it's exactly like what our worst fears have been realized.
It was just a vision.
Yep.
And the vision basically just looked at Rey and said something along the lines of, don't be afraid to be who you are, or who you're meant to be.
Which I didn't think that was that bad.
I didn't mind that, because we've been,
Yeah, it kind of sucked when she hissed.
That was miserable.
Yeah, it was. She pulled a Bilbo Baggins in the first Lord of the Rings movie.
She did, but much worse.
Yeah, she's there, and then she's like, yeah. She goes weird, hissing
my ring.
Bangs. It's weird.
Now I want to ask you, what did you think of that dual blade lightsaber that instead of just being one physical staff, it bent in half?
It looks cool, but it looks like it'd be really easy to break.
Yeah, especially if it folds in half. You're just holding two lightsabers.
She folded the lightsaber on Rey's lightsaber. I was like, why didn't Rey just move the lightsaber a little bit down and just break both lightsabers?
Break it in half. Even then, she'd be... Worst case scenario, she has a lightsaber in each hand, and you just figure it out from there.
We'll answer that,
in the books, of course. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to know the answers.
I wonder if J.J. Abrams is going to do a Zack Snyder, where for the next 4 years, he's going to be like, no, this happened, and this is why it makes sense.
He's been doing that. Yeah. He's already apparently making excuses saying, the reason we didn't do this was to budgetary reasons, or to the fact that
this movie had $275 million for a budget.
What's another 10? What's another 20 at that point?
Well,
this thing eventually...
We'll talk later, because we know they didn't use the budget in the last section of the movie.
Absolutely not.
So...
We know eventually this movie's going to hit $1 billion, so invest.
Anyway, moving on. So,
move along.
Her and Kylo fight in a lightsaber fight. I didn't like it, because the jumps, they kept jumping, like Jedi jumping, but they looked weird.
Yeah. It was just, again, like I said before, this was a fight that I was never invested in.
They try to make it like the opposite of Anakin and Obi-Wan, where it's like the waves of water instead of lava crashing. They're following this metal path, but the jumping.
The story, it's poetry. It rhymes.
I think it's because they did like motion blows with the jumping.
They probably did.
Like they made the jumping.
You mean they weren't jumping? I'm confused.
No, they did. It was just like they're like, oh, they jump, they do motion blows because they're so fast.
Yeah, they probably did
superhero landings.
They did the like Deadpool superhero landing.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up.
Why would that's not how the Jedi work?
That's not how the Jedi work.
I was like,
Mace Windu dropped 80 feet when he was fighting Count Dooku when he jumped down. He did not land in Attack of the Clones.
Mace Windu?
Mace Windu. I'm talking about a different movie. Okay. But when he was ready to strike Count Dooku and the super battle droids came out of the hallway, he jumped 80 to 100 feet.
When he I thought you were trying to say he
when
down.
He died.
No, like he saved. I was like, oh my god, what do you know? Do you know something?
I mean, I can only hope.
So they fight. Kylo Ren looks like he is about to win, and then
Leia? Out of nowhere, we see Leia on the base. She's standing with a couple of different Resistance leaders. She kind of stands up and walks away. I think it might actually be her. Carrie Fisher's daughter was the one that was walking away with her. I'm not sure. I don't want to.
But anyway, they made it seem like she force linked with Kylo, and then she's killed over.
Yeah, it just didn't add up.
And our main hero then took a lightsaber and stabbed Kylo Ren in the stomach.
It was just
I loved it though. I loved it. So I like that she's
she's embracing it.
Yeah, playing a little dirty.
It's like she could have easily.
He's distracted. I'm gonna stab him in the stomach and get rid of this. I'm not gonna cough his arm or anything. I'm killing him.
She could have gone the typical Star Wars route of cutting off his hand, cutting off his arm.
I was like, holy shit! She
even
she
swiping
his
leg,
and then she immediately healed him. And I was like, what is with this movie?
Yep, she killed him.
This is at this point.
They both sensed Leia was dead.
At this point in the movie,
this is R2's most important moment.
It is the third time that someone has died and then been brought back. Between Chewbacca and C-3PO. This is the third time it happened.
There's got to be more, and we're just forgetting them.
Well, there's more later, probably.
Probably. So she immediately, I guess, she gets angry in the moment, attempts to kill him, realizes Leia's dead, sees that he's upset that his mother's dead, understandably, because like we've talked in the past, Leia seems to be Kylo Ren's one weakness.
Yeah,
He struggled to kill Han Solo, but he killed him.
It's definitely
he couldn't kill Leia in the Last Jedi.
Way more Leia,
and it's a shame because they probably could have had some dialogue, whether through Force connecting or maybe when she was a ghost.
I'm not gonna say it's a shame because I've seen the dialogue of this movie. I don't think it was gonna be blowing me away.
Yeah, one plot line wouldn't have made this movie any better.
Yeah, so that happens. Then she takes his TIE interceptor.
She, as always, she steals something to Oct 2.
Yes, where Luke was in exile. So, by the way, John, we haven't really talked a lot about Finn. I'm gonna say I want to talk about him at the end.
All right, we can have a dialogue for him.
Yeah, because I have a lot. Finn was my favorite character. This movie did him dirty.
Yeah, we'll talk about Rey for a minute, and then we have to go back and talk about Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I want to focus more on Kylo and Rey. I don't really care about Poe.
Why would you?
Poe was funny in this movie. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
So, Rey goes back to Oct 2.
Yep. She lands the ship, starts taking pieces of wood and throwing them at the ship to burn it.
Yeah.
And we get arguably the best moment of the movie. We get our half-second cameo of a porg.
Yes.
Does the little chirp.
I felt a tickle in my balls.
Flaps his wing. My heart, it beat again.
My heart did beat. It made the noise of the porg. I can't do it.
I can't do it either.
Also, total.
My heart.
I don't care what anyone says. Total retcon that there weren't any porgs in the Falcon.
That's a joke. We talked about this in the past. The Millennium Falcon. The Millennium Falcon should have had porgs littering it. There should have been porgs, harvesting in the corners of the ship. There should have been porg shit on the floor. It should have been a running gag that they were just landing on their heads, getting in the way.
I don't know how to take it that far.
It would have been funny.
But definitely some gags of porgs bothering them while you're doing things.
When they could have been playing their chess game.
Yeah.
A porg could have landed on the table and messed Chewie up.
Yeah.
And forced him to lose, which he never does.
Yeah.
Something like that could have been funny.
It could have been funny that the porgs really liked Chewie. And he was annoyed by it.
Even though he's the one that ate one, they could have taken him. We didn't see him eat it. I'm going to assume.
No, but didn't he put it down or throw it away?
He put it down. I'm going to assume that he ate it once we were off screen.
He's sanitary. Probably he picked it up from the dirt and ate it.
I think he just dropped it. I don't think he
But I don't think he's going to drop it and pick it up.
No, I mean dropped. He dropped his hand. I don't think he dropped it on the floor.
Okay, so you think he eventually ate it?
Of course he eventually ate it.
It did look good. But, So she destroys the TIE Interceptor.
Yep.
And then she's about to throw Luke / Anakin / her
Rey's
lightsaber / Obi-Wan Kenobi for like a year or two.
Or 20.
Oh yeah, it's 20. / maybe Leia's once, we don't know. / Han Solo's in that one scene of Han.
Yes, of course.
/ maybe Kylo Ren, maybe? / Finn's.
/ Finn's.
/ Finn's lightsaber. / Rey's. She throws it in the fire, and then Luke catches it.
/ Maz Kanata's.
Yes.
It was in her possession for a long time.
Maybe the longest, actually, like 30-something years.
Oh, God, I guess she would have it more than Obi-Wan, and obviously Anakin.
Yeah.
And Luke.
Whoa.
I mean, that's a great story, but for another time.
Yeah. So she throws it in, Luke catches it. He's like, this is like what does he say?
Yeah, this is just a total fuck you to Rian Johnson. She takes the lightsaber, she throws it at the fire, and we see Luke's hand, as a Force ghost, grab the lightsaber. We both kind of groan at each other because he doesn't look good.
Yes, the hair.
Luke,
they gave him a wig. It was
all of a sudden, he had much longer hair than in The Last Jedi.
And it didn't move right. It moved in like clumps.
It kind of moved in clumps. I think just even as a ghost, it didn't look perfect.
It was a clear
He looked
wig.
okay.
It was a clear wig.
It was definitely a bad wig.
Yeah.
But basically, the FU to Rian Johnson when Luke threw the lightsaber down the cliff.
Sacred artifact.
Yeah, he basically grabs it. He looks at Rey and he's like, "That's not what you're supposed to do." He says something along the lines of, "A Jedi would really never do that."
Well,
which is what he did.
I'm pretty sure
3 weeks ago.
Doesn't he first?
6
say,
months
like,
ago.
This is like a sacred art something.
He says something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever he says implies that Rian Johnson is a dick.
And then you hear
it was
really
just
in the distance a light voice saying, "It belongs in a museum."
Honestly, Mark Hamill should have looked at the camera and said, "Rian Johnson, fuck you."
Yeah.
JJ told me to say this.
So they have a whole talk. It was good. Like the line in the trailer was like, facing your fears, the destiny of Jedi. I love that line.
Yeah, it's a good line.
Yeah. So they talk.
It's the truth.
He force lifts his X-wing out of the water.
Yep. But before we get to that, Rey says something along the lines of, "I failed you, I failed Leia," I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then Luke's like, well, don't forget Leia was, sensitive in the Force.
Yeah.
And we got a very short cutscene, a flashback of Luke and Leia training with each other.
Which I liked it, but
I liked it too. They were both wearing the training mask that
Yeah.
Rey wore at the beginning. I think they may have even been on the same planet at the beginning of this.
I think that was.
It looked like it was the same.
Sure.
The training course.
Yeah, I think in the visual dictionary it said that that was the same planet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't spend the $25 to read that. Please forgive me.
He keeps saying that, you guys, but he was just in Barnes & Noble. I didn't buy it either. We were just in Barnes & Noble like an hour ago.
Yeah, well, who was the one looking at it? It was you.
You
Well, we were researching. We were
You
researching
were
for this.
looking at the price.
Because I said we should split it. Neither of us wanted to buy it for ourselves.
He wanted it, you guys.
I did not want it.
I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow I go and look at it. It's gone.
Oh,
So, they talk. She decides to go to Octu, and then she takes out she's like, oh, because Kylo Ren for some weird reason still has the Wayfinder in his TIE Intercept. I don't know why.
Yeah, somehow that didn't blow up or burn along with the rest of the ship.
Yeah. So
And then Luke's like, "You have everything. You have what you need right here." And then Rey's like, "How am I going to get there?" He uses the Force. He lifts up the X-wing,
if I remember
which is what I call nostalgia, a
Not only
callback.
that, if I remember correctly, I think in the visual dictionary of The Last Jedi, Luke's door was made out of the wing of his X-wing.
It was, and if I'm not mistaken, we see the X-wing in The Last Jedi. I believe
under the water.
You do see it under the water.
Yeah.
So we knew it was there technically. We're not supposed to be shocked. Now we know he didn't swim to this island.
No. So she decides. So she puts the holocron in, and she's traveling to the outer regions of Exegol to face Palpatine.
Yep.
So now we're gonna skip over. At this point,
We have to go back to Kylo Ren.
yeah, we are gonna go. First,
Okay.
the crew, like really fast. The crew go back to not Yavin, and they're like, "Oh no, Leia's dead." And then Hobbit guy, the Hobbit, is like, "Oh, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a Sith fleet now coming, and they're gonna destroy everything."
Yeah, he knows. He just knows.
He knows everything. He literally just.
Oh well, actually no. This is when Palpatine reaches out to the entire galaxy again,
No, but before that, he talks about that.
Okay.
And he's like, so this is like this, and he almost wanted to be like, I think he should have just handed him the script of the movie. And he's like, this is like everything crossed out. Like,
it makes sense. Like when Game of Thrones had the Starbucks cup on the table.
Yeah.
Someone should be able to find a script for
oh my God,
the Rise of Skywalker just right there.
Yeah.
He looks down to read his line. He forgets one of his 4 lines.
And then
in the film.
we get the Star Destroyer. I don't remember what's the Zeiston class Star Destroyer.
Sounds like something that's irrelevant to me.
Yeah, it's not a really amazing name. So the Zeiston class Star Destroyer, each single one has a Death Star on the a mini Death Star laser on the bottom, and they blow up the planet where C-3PO got his memories wiped.
Yes, they blow up that whole planet. So we're led to believe Babu Freak and Kerry Russell's character.
So
and
we got like 1,000 Death Stars in this movie.
Too many.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem if there were like 20 of these Star Destroyers.
I would have.
Honestly, more than 2 was too much. That was the beauty of the Death Star. It's just one.
But this is all based on the Dark Empire.
These Star Destroyers shouldn't have been able to have that on there without blowing up themselves.
It's just stupid. They should have just been a fleet of Star Destroyers. It would have made more sense. It's not like I would have been like, oh, well, how are they going to do it? There's 1,000 Star Destroyers.
The Last Jedi, the Dreadnought had like a massive weapon on the bottom.
Yeah.
And that was able to blow up cities, I guess.
Yeah.
Who's to say that the Empire should have sent 4 or 5 Star Destroyers to each planet and just blow up the main cities?
Yeah.
Where the majority of the population is. So imagine sending a Star Destroyer to just blow up Cloud City.
So that happens, and
it didn't happen.
Like, okay, well, and Lando's there all of a sudden, and he's like,
Lando's just
I'm gonna go and see if I could find any allies, and he leaves, and then
with Chewie.
Yeah, with Chewie, he takes the Falcon. No.
Yes, they take the Falcon.
Okay, so
the plan is Chewie and Lando go get help. The rest of the Resistance, they're gonna follow Rey because Rey basically shows them a way of how to follow her. Because someone's like, R2's like, that's Luke's X-Wing. And then everyone's like, but Luke's dead. And then they're like, oh, it's Rey flying it. She's guiding us in. So they all use, nope.
So, and so then they leave. You see like the ship's taking off. A-Wings, B-Wings, all the greatest hits.
G Wings. All the greatest hits.
So they go, and really fast, R2-D2 had a backup of C-3PO's
which
memory.
was implied earlier. C-3PO said, oh, him? Yeah. He can't even function properly. How's he gonna have a proper backup? The backup was from 5 hours ago.
Yeah,
because he said, "Oh, we're going on a mission."
It's like
it'd be one thing
right before he left.
He should have been backed up from A New Hope or something. Something like that could have been funny.
Imagine if he just had a backup from the prequels.
Oh, that would have been good. Right when his memory was wiped at the end of Revenge of the Sith, he's back there. Something like that would have been funny, but nope.
So that happens.
C-3PO has iCloud.
Let's go to Kylo. So the whole time this is happening, Kylo is presumably crying on the Death Star remains. Just sitting there like, I don't know what to do.
Yep, he's just slowly dying.
And then he gets...
he's been healed, but he's just contemplating.
Yeah, not a Force vision, a Force memory?
A Force fucking with his head?
Yeah.
Which may have been done by Leia.
Solo said it was
apparently.
His memory. So he talks with his dad.
Yep.
And there's a lot of
90% the same dialogue from The Force Awakens when he kills Han.
Motions a little bit. I didn't like this.
It was just.
It felt like it should have been Luke.
It should have been that. Luke would have been great because when Luke was a Force, I'll see you around, kid. How great would it have been? Like, hey, kid, you fucked up. You can still fix this.
But maybe it's just like Luke was like, I know you're gonna die soon.
I mean, yeah. But it doesn't mean he could die, he could die doing the right thing.
Luke was like, man, you have a rough 6 months ahead of you. So he has it. I think it's the fact that it was like, it should have been Luke. And just the dialogue,
even Leia. It could have potentially been Leia.
The fact that
but it
the dialogue was so similar to the... I was like, it's not...
It's 90% the same dialogue.
It's not a callback.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
I didn't think it was like a callback. I was just like...
It was just a weird parallel.
Yeah. That's like, why do you like your dad all of a sudden? You kind of still hate him?
Yeah. That's like a big reason you joined the dark side. You had issues with your parents.
I didn't like it.
Like we all do.
Yeah, I guess. So I didn't like it. It didn't tug at my heartstrings.
No. Honestly, when Harrison Ford was on the screen, I was just like, oh, man. My first thought was, how much money did they have to give him to get him back?
6 figures. Max, maybe 7. No, I would be surprised if you got like $10 million for that.
I would say 2 to 3.
I mean, the budget had to go somewhere.
The budget had to go somewhere.
So
but he got something good out of it.
Kylo Ren throws his lightsaber. He does it, right? Not the memory.
Yeah, he basically takes the lightsaber, he throws it into the ocean, he turns around, Han is gone.
Yeah, and
then I guess he's just...
How does he get to Exegol?
How does he get to Exegol?
Does he take a ship? I don't remember.
Well, clearly the Death Star was still functioning properly. I'm sure there were just TIE fighters lying all around.
I think he does. I think he takes a TIE fighter.
He does come on a TIE fighter, so he must find a TIE fighter on the Death Star.
So somehow...
No, we don't see the ship he comes in. We see him looking at the X-Wing. He looks at the X-Wing, and then he runs in. So we don't...
Okay.
Maybe they did show it that. I don't think they showed anything.
I thought they showed him flying through at one point, but maybe not. So he gets there, but now...
This movie's very memorable, everyone. Yeah. We remember everything because it was so good.
Brendan saw it twice. So Rey gets the Exegol. She's walking in. And then we get the great encounter of her and Palpatine in a huge, almost like it kind of reminds me of Mordor, like the statues. Like the giant statues. Like it's like a vast open space with just giant statues that look like towers.
Yep.
And then also an arena.
Yeah, they were in the Coliseum.
Filled with Sith acolytes.
Thousands
Not
of
sure
them.
if they're real people, if they're memories. It's a little
It's
vague.
never, it's very bizarre.
Palpatine's like, hey, you know how I said Kylo Ren was my chosen one? I was lying. It's you, because you're my daughter. And somehow I had a son that no one knows about. And that son had a wife and a kid. And I killed the son and wife. And I was looking for you. And you were hidden or something.
Yeah, so,
But now you're here, so I'm going to make you queen. I'm going to teach you everything. You're going to be queen.
Yep, all you have to do is kill me, and you'll be in charge.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
No, clearly you know the lightning. You probably know how to force choke.
Palpatine is like a Generation Z person, where it's like, I just really want to die, guys. Will someone just do it?
Please.
Please, someone, kill me. I'm hooked up to this machine. It's terrible.
Now, what did you think of Ian McDermott's performance as Palpatine? Was it as good enough for what it could be?
It was good. I think he didn't have a lot to do.
He didn't have a lot.
I thought they were a little weird with his voice.
Yeah, it kind of went around up and down.
It was like they made it really deep.
Yes.
Which I was a little like, I know that's not how he speaks.
It was like that one scene in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Right? It was,
Yeah, as soon as he turns, he has like really weird auto-tune on him.
Yeah, it was like his voice was trying to process.
I love the look, though. The look of the black robe, the ghost, the pale eyes, the messed up fingers, and that red sash. Like, ooh,
the red sash was perfect. They brought...
That skin better come to Battlefront 2.
That would be pretty good.
It looks awesome.
Yes.
So I love the look. So he's talking with Rey, and then... is that when the fleet pulls in?
The fleet pulls in around that time.
So the first
Finn is a commander at this point.
Yeah, a general.
A general, I'm sorry.
So, not the first order. The Resistance is like... So this whole Sith fleet can't make it out of here without some...
One tower
yeah.
is guiding them out because the electric field is too strong. They need one singular thing to guide them out one by one.
It's such a video game plot.
It really is.
Like this whole...
destroy the one thing.
This whole fleet of 1,000 ships can't get out of here.
This was a video game level.
Yeah. Also, at one point, quickly, someone suggested that why don't we do the Holdo maneuver? And they were
Did someone say that?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
And they were like, only, I think they said to like Poe, and Poe's like, only as a last resort. And I was like, bro, there's 1,000 Star Destroyers with...
as a last resort?
This is the last resort.
Considering they were all lined up in order,
yeah,
there should have been 10 Resistance fighters that were like, you know what? This is for what's best.
You know what? I will
and
say,
just light speed through all of them.
This is on Ryan
The
Johnson.
chain reaction would have killed them all.
This is on Ryan Johnson, because now there's such an OP maneuver where it's like, just hook up a droid, send him in a fighter, and you could wipe out entire...
Yeah, you're right.
fleets.
You could hook up a droid, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
There's no definition that said that Holdo from The Last Jedi...
Yeah.
There's nothing that stated she physically had to do it.
I think it was just the fact that it was like...
Not like a subway car that a hand needs to be holding it.
I think the whole point is she just had like last minute... Like there's nothing... She didn't have droids in there.
Yeah, that was her last resort.
Yeah. But this movie, it's like, you really could weaponize that.
You really could have done that so quick.
Effects.
And the chain reaction, they would have all blown up within a couple of minutes.
So... They decide not to do that. So they're there. They're starting their attack. You got, like I said, the greatest hits. You have A-Wings, B-Wings, X-Wings, Y-Wings. All slightly like minuscule. Like the cockpit of the A-wing's a little different. Of the Y-wing's a little different. The A-wing is slightly longer. The X-wing has two engines instead of four. I didn't notice anything with the B-wing. And then you had like a few Corellian corvettes, CR-90s, a Nebula and B frigate, and it's like, cool, I remember this in Return of the Jedi.
Hey, that's throwback.
So they fight the Sith fleet. Very bad space fight. Terrible.
Terrible.
Because it's just jump cuts. You really can't see anything. You're not getting a sense of the battle. It's all kind of like just like people talking in their cockpits. In the end, it was like the main general. The new general is says, okay, they're going for the tower.
Let's just switch to my ship.
Yeah, which is like, why not just do both or something? I don't know.
Well, why not just switch from ship to ship?
So then there was...
Because he should have noticed they all went to his ship.
Yeah.
You could have just...
The resistance is like, okay, well, now let's escape. We lost. They really quickly give up.
Yeah.
But then Finn's like, no, let's just land on... Instead of taking out the Star Destroyer, they're like, let's land on it and then do some whole rigmarole. I'm like, just blow up the cockpit.
This may have been the first thing we got of Finn that was important to the plot, but never really...
I think it goes against his new... Like, I don't know. I don't know what... Okay, I don't know if... I won't talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later.
I'm so lost in
this character. But long story short, there were thousands of Star Destroyers there. Finn knew the exact one. He looked up...
because it was the only resurgence one.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the rows of the Zeiston, and then there was just one resurgence all the way like above.
Okay.
So, and I think it's like this.
But he still was able to look and like, oh.
Well, I think the signal was coming from it.
Okay.
So they decided.
Oh, you mean they actually put that much effort into the movie?
No, what effort did that? So they're like, instead of blowing it up like they would any other Star Destroyer, just bomb it because they were destroying Star Destroyers.
Yes.
Like they're like, if you hit the laser, the Star Destroyer just automatically blows up. So instead of blowing it up, like let's land on it, infiltrate it, and take it out. And I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure like 15 Resistance members aren't gonna wipe out like an entire Star Destroyer because I think they have like thousands.
Yeah.
That's getting too nerdy. It wasn't a good plan regardless. So then they take a dropship, they land on the surface of the Star Destroyer, and then they just come out on horses. And it's like, why not just land at the part you want to land on?
Yeah, the horses ran across like a third of the battleship. And they could have easily just landed
and then,
50 feet from where they were looking to go.
Fighting
the Sith troopers.
Who I love the design, just were not used in this movie. And again, the fighting is just not good because it's just like quick, shaky cuts, and like I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like are they like surrounded? Is it just a wave on wave? It didn't make sense. I couldn't figure it out.
Nope, that's the point of these movies. This is something he does as a director. So, he puts just enough for you to get interested, and then we're gone.
Well, the problem is I wasn't interested.
Exactly.
So, cut back now. Kylo Ren has made it. He is dressed as a yuppie.
Yeah, he kind of just came right out of, Park Slope.
He's in like khaki pants, like a wool shirt.
We get our one Kylo Ren kind of funny moment out of these trilogies.
Which I did not like.
I didn't like it either. He jumped down to basically the elevator that brings you to the bottom of the temple. It was like, it wasn't there. So he had to jump about 30 feet onto one of those statues. Yeah, he jumped, understandably hurt himself, and he was just like, ow.
Yeah, and I was just like, out of all this sudden, why is this character making... It was such a tone shift.
Maybe if he actually said something, and maybe he was like, I wasn't expecting that.
As soon as he landed on Exegol, he was a completely different character. He was cracking jokes, he was goofy. I was like, what is this? This is like
they made him Han Solo like that.
Yeah, I was not digging it.
There were two Han Solo references to his character at that point.
So we haven't mentioned them because there's nothing to mention. There was one scene at the beginning of the movie with the Knights of Ren. Yes. And then now they're here, and Kylo Ren kind of just offs them. Like, they don't have a line, there's nothing. They're just there. They have like a scene where Kylo takes like 20 seconds to kill them, and that's it.
At most.
No. But first, how does he kill them?
He kills them because Rey is really like, I think she's ready to kill the Emperor.
Yeah.
There's part of her that's like, I have no choice. The Emperor pulled a Return of the Jedi, showed her what's going on in the battle, and said, if you strike me down, you can take over and you can end this. So you can save your friends.
The Force and projection.
Yep, she gets ready to strike him with the lightsaber, and which he says, do it. He does say that. Another callback.
Yeah, it's
projects.
Not projects, it's a projection. She force transports.
They force FaceTime again.
Yeah.
They notice that they're in the same place. They somehow look each other in the face. They both smiled. They kind of nod at each other.
Kylo Ren did look and go, right? No?
A little tongue.
Okay,
a little tongue. I mean, we didn't see the whole camera shot. I would imagine his hand was in his pants.
Yeah. Well, at least a slight bulge. Those pants were shown.
They were tight.
So
they look at each other.
She
they nod.
gives him Luke's lightsaber.
Yeah, she brings.
Or was it Leia's?
No, she gives
Luke's.
him Luke. She pulls back as if to strike, and then she brings her hand, and it's empty.
Yeah.
The Emperor looks, or
Weird,
I guess assumes because he has no eyes at this point.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren pulls the lightsaber out of his hand, and he does a straight up Han Solo.
It's really not clear if he's blind. Is it?
Yeah, it's not clear.
Like, I think it might just be white eyes.
It could just be white eyes, or he's just that powerful in the Force. He just knows.
Or maybe he just heard like, "Hey, there's no buzzing."
That's true. But yeah, Kylo Ren takes the lightsaber. He does a Han Solo where he puts his hand out and kind of just goes, "Aha!" You know.
And he also does a thing where he shoots behind without looking.
He does do that. He does that. We missed that. He does that a minute before.
Yeah. So
he shoots without looking at his target, like Han did in
Kylo
Force
Ren
Awakens.
kills the Knights of Ren.
With
They're
ease.
gone. They're gone.
The Knights of Ren they were just the guys that were there.
There's going to be a comic book or a book about them. I don't need it.
We're already getting that.
Yeah,
there's a Kylo Ren comic book, and the last comic ended with him meeting up with the Knights of Ren, or saying to Snoke, "Tell me where they are."
It's the fact that the visual novel dictionary has like little facts like this person likes to do this. I'm like, this is not what I want. So he kills them.
You know what I like? I like movies that aren't as bad. I can't wait for people to listen to this and be like, "Wow, Brendan is a real JJ supporter."
He kills a few of the royal guards, but I don't
Rey
know.
kills the royal guards. Oh no, he does kill a couple.
Kylo Ren on the way kills a few.
On the way there.
I wish I could see them because I didn't get a good look at them. Like I said, this is it's dark. There's like flashing lights. You really can't see. It's blurry.
Yeah, this movie had seizure warnings actually.
Yes.
So that could be some of the scenes.
It might be. Well, especially the lightning later. So there's a lot of flashing. You can't make it out. He gets there. Pause. The Resistance are in trouble now. Up not in space, like up at the
just right above the Sith temple.
Yeah. So
Poe is looking left and right. Everyone is dying. His friend Wexley.
Yeah.
That just was
We'll call him not Porkins.
Not Porkins. Thank you.
Does the alien die?
I don't know.
The only alien in the Resistance?
Yeah, exactly. This entire Resistance is just human.
Yeah, except the one alien who's been in all 3 movies but also died in the first movie.
He dies in the first movie and he's
Why
right there in the second.
Why would you use the same costume when it's like, here's 15 humans, here's 1 alien, that alien dies, the next movie, here's a bunch of humans, and here's a different alien, but it's still the same species with the same costume.
We had one other alien that was in 7 and 9. 9 Nub? He was in Return of the Jedi. He was the guy that was in the cockpit with Lando.
He was in 7?
He was in 7.
Okay.
He was part of the Starkiller base attack.
Okay.
And he wasn't in the final battle in Episode 9, but he was at the Rebel base.
Yeah, he was at a scene.
He was just kind of talking. He was like, oh yeah, what are we going to do?
So, at this point...
Remember me?
On Your Left happens.
Yes, we get an Avengers Endgame On Your Left.
Yeah.
Poe is looking... His friend just died. He's freaking out. He's getting the radio call of everyone. What do we do? Poe. And he's like, there's nothing to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lando picks up the radio and says, but there's more of us. And then he pulls the ship up.
Giant fleet pulls into hyperspace.
I'm talking thousands of,
And
ships.
This is where I'm going to jump in. How this movie had a budget of $275 million. All the ships were reused models from the previous movies. There's not a single new ship in this movie. The Zyxen class is the Star Destroyer from Rogue One, the same model, except they gave it a red line. They gave it
that makes it different.
A red line. They gave it the cannon on the bottom, and they said no, but this time it's bigger. And it's like no, it's the same exact model. And when this
how are we supposed to know it's bigger?
I don't know.
I guess we didn't read the dictionary.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the Resistance fleet is, again, it's just all reused models. It's CR-90s. It's the Bunker Buster from The Last Jedi. It's Nebula and B frigates. It's a bunch of the Admiral Radis's, the ship used in The Last Jedi, the Mon Calamari ship.
Okay.
It's a bunch of the Admiral Radis's ship from the Rogue One.
Yeah,
I think it's like the MC-75.
I liked his ship in that movie.
Yeah. I like Mon Calamari ships. So it's like the ship that Han used in A Force Awakens when he was like freighting those creatures.
Which is just so bizarre. I feel like it
not
has no guns on it.
It's really just like copy and paste all Like, we don't, like, make a new model? No. And then, okay, they did make one new model, which was the Ghost, the Rebel ship.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, whatever.
But they just had to look at that from Rebels and just make it look...
I know, but it's like, is that the Ghost? Because it was the only one there, I think.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that was spotted in the trailers a while ago.
So, it's just a bunch of reused models. Like, they couldn't even, like, make... The Zyson should be some cool new class. I know, it felt lazy.
Very lazy.
Like, you can't make any, like, it's all just copy and paste. Like, you know, put like 15 bunker buses over here. Put like, you know, a bunch of Nebulon Sea frigates over here. It's just, come on.
Yeah, no, it was very weak in that regard.
So they start fighting. You get a really like 2-second cameo of Wedge.
Yeah, which we loved. We got so excited to see him.
You know,
because it's something we talked about for all 3 movies. We said, will we get Wedge?
I didn't love it, though, because it was just like...
it was weak.
Like, if you blinked, you would miss it. Like, it is a blink.
I'm pretty sure the theater didn't know who he was.
No.
We were the only 2 out of that whole theater that actually got excited.
I mean, he looks old.
Yeah, but we knew.
I mean, to be honest, if you really aren't a Star Wars fan, you don't know who he is.
Of course not.
Like, you have to really, like, watch, like, you know, those movies a lot to be like, that's Wedge Antilles.
Are you saying that we've watched those movies too many times?
No, I'm saying I've read a lot of the books. Well, Wedge is a huge character.
Of course.
So, that's happening. Then, Rey and Kylo are like, hey, we're going to kick your ass, old man.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
And then Palpatine's like, no. And
I love the dark side.
He sucks out their life force. And it's like, ooh, I know I
Another new thing out of nowhere.
And then he's like, I know I can do this. You know what? This is my plan the whole time. I am going to be the king. And so he sucks their life. He kind of gets back to...
He
Episode 3.
Yes. He takes the life force out of them for a millisecond. And it gave him so much power that he's like, wow, a dyad in the Force, unseen. And then he just...
Force lightnings the whole Resistance fleet. None of them were destroyed. Like, some of them break, like they crash, they're destroyed. But, like, he's Force lightning, and it's like, hey, our shields are down. What's happening? Our engines.
Yeah, it's just like they're floating for a minute.
No, they're falling.
They're falling, but no one dies.
Yeah, like a few people die, but it's like...
No one matters.
So that happens.
What did you think about that? Did you like that he was able to use lightning that powerful?
I think it was a cool visual.
Great visual.
I didn't think it made much sense.
It didn't make much sense, and I liked the visual. I also really liked the 2-second build-up. He kind of looks up. He has that like perfect Palpatine smile.
That smile always gets me.
It got me. He looks up. He has that evil smile, and then he shoots. Yeah. He had a weird bass drop too.
Said power.
He should have said supreme
power. So at
power.
this point, like, Rey is down. Oh, and while he's really, he's screaming like, I am all the Sith, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, we're not there yet.
We're not?
They're both... Ben, because he's Ben now. Kylo Ren is dead, everyone.
Yeah, it's a weird point. Like,
dead.
This is Ben. Kylo Ren's gone. This is Ben now.
It's not like Vader, where Vader, like, was still Vader, but he made a good choice.
Yeah.
They're both unconscious. Ben stands up, goes to fight the Emperor again. The Emperor, like, pulls him up, and he says, just like I fell, just like I died, so will the Skywalker line. And he throws Ben down a cliff. And my first thought was, he'll be up in a minute.
So it's false death number 4.
There's the next
false
one.
Death number 4. And there's still one more to go. Yeah. So, I guess maybe it's false death number 5. So, Ben's flown. Rey gets up. She blocks him his lightning with a lightsaber.
Before she gets there, before she stands up, she does the same thing as the beginning of the movie. She's like, be with me. Be with me. And now, all of the Jedi of the past speak to her.
It's a little confusing, because it's a lot coming at you. You could hear some voices.
We both knew who a lot of them were, because,
I mean, they were really, they're taking, Shaak Ti, Aayla Secura, Plo Koon,
a couple
Ahsoka.
Of other Jedi from the Clone Wars show.
Mace. There's a lot of characters that if you're not watching all the cartoons and stuff, you're like, who are these people?
Yeah, I mean they had Kanan from Rebels.
Yeah,
and I didn't even realize that was him until I saw who was who. I didn't realize it was Shaak Ti.
Anakin to me was the most what I heard. I didn't hear Qui-Gon. You told me. You hey.
I heard Qui-Gon right.
I was like, I missed him.
The first one was Ewan McGregor. Yeah. Because they used him in The Force Awakens. I'm like, okay. They're doing that again.
Yeah.
Then Hayden Christensen...
Like the musical starts and you hear, hello there.
General Kenobi. That's what I wanted.
That would have been good if Palpatine heard that.
That would have been good if Palpatine was just kind of standing there and then General Grievous is like...
So,
She hears these voices. It gives her the power to stand up.
Yeah. So she gets. I want to skip through this because I'm done with this. This is too long.
By this point in the movie, he might as well have been out of the theater.
Did you fall asleep? I was hoping I had to go to the bathroom. I was like, maybe. I was like, I was like, nah. I'm going out. So she gets Luke's lightsaber. She's blocking lightning because then he's shooting lightning at her.
Yeah.
Then she gets Leia's lightsaber.
She pulls Leia's.
Yeah.
So we get Endgame again. He says, "I am all the Sith," instead of "I am inevitable."
Yeah.
And then she says, "And I am all of the Jedi." Excuse me, I am Iron Man.
Yeah. So
gets the second one, makes an X, and just pushes it right back in his face.
This is when I'm like, he shot lightning, and it's
at thousands of ships.
Yeah, and he
should have been able to.
Yeah. And it doesn't. That's. I'm not going too hardcore in the nitty gritty because I know like an fans like who cares. Technically, in the Star Wars universe, deflecting Sith lightning is a special thing. Like not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
Like Obi-Wan couldn't do it. Anakin couldn't do it in Episode 2 with Count Dooku.
Obi-Wan did it.
He did. Okay.
Well, Obi-Wan used the lightsaber.
Okay, yeah, but like
there's a difference between using the lightsaber, I think, and using like your hand, like Yoda did.
Thing. But so she deflects it, and then he shoots himself to death again?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the argument that, like, once you get electrocuted, you can't control yourself?
It's like a stupid way of, like...
Once
technically, she killed him, but she didn't kill him.
He killed himself.
But it was like, why would you shoot him? As soon as the first bolt is coming back at you, I'm done.
Yeah, he should have realized he was getting overpowered. He stops and just figures something else out. There's thousands of people there. He should have been like, help me out.
In Revenge of the Sith, it made sense why he kept the lightning going.
Oh yeah, it was all part of the plan.
To lure Anakin. This one, it's like, stop, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so she kills him.
Like, if Kylo Ren was still evil at this point, he could have, done something like that. Like, help me and I'll make you more powerful.
She kills him. The Resistance blow up the ship. The Sith fleet is gone somehow or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It blows up for some reason. Like,
I guess they just blow up the Final Order ship at the same time as the Emperor dies, right?
Pretty gruesome death, though, for the general. When they, pan out. I love this.
His body goes flying out that window.
They pan out, and the general walks to the window, and you just see the explosion shove him out the window, and he's burst. Like,
that's pretty bad.
I was like, whoa!
Badass.
So, the Resistance win. Rey falls to the ground.
She kind of looks around, she, like, smiles. I guess she's like, alright, I did it. And then she's dead.
Kylo Ren climbs back up like a spider monkey, and he runs over to her, and then he gives her some of his Force semen, whatever.
We've had 8 movies before this. No one could do this before.
Well, we've had like 11 before this.
You're right.
So
maybe if we watch, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was a Jedi in the holiday special that could Force heal.
There's not.
How do you know? You've never watched it.
Touche. So he gives her some of his Force essence. She gets up. They do some weird, like, no music, complete silence, like laugh, giggling. They kiss, which our movie theater, I don't know about your second one. Our movie theater was like, ooh, like, not like a, it was like a.
It wasn't no clapping, no, like, Raylo fans.
It was like, I don't know if I like this. And then he just falls dead, and that's when, for our movie theater, laughter.
We got laughter. That was the most laughter of the whole film.
It was so slapstick.
It wasn't like he died in pain and, like, was, like, hurting. Yeah. He went from smiling to just...
kiss and then fall.
He died faster than Shmi did. And Shmi dropped.
Yeah, and then Force disappears.
Within a few seconds, which led me to believe, he died as a light side user.
Which, I mean, okay.
Was pushing it.
It's pushing it, because the same thing with Hux, it's like, all these deaths are on him, too.
Yeah,
like,
no. Like, Kylo Ren killed a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't understand why, like, he should not become one with the Force. And I guess he's on a Force Ghost later, so. But I was like, he does not deserve that Force disappearance. He is I was not against.
You know what probably happened? I feel like JJ, out of nowhere, JJ was like, maybe I shouldn't do a parallel of him being burnt like Darth Vader was. All of a sudden, he's like, that's too similar. Let me make him disappear instead.
Yeah, it was...
Vader didn't disappear.
No. Because he was still alive when he was being burned alive.
He was. You could hear the screams.
Yeah. So...
I hate you!
I did not like this way of getting Kylo Ren. I didn't want him to be... I wanted to be like, okay, you're cemented as evil. Because he really cemented himself as evil in these movies.
We had our chance in the first movie.
Yeah.
For him to turn back or be kind of like in between.
The second movie.
Second movie too.
Yeah.
Luke
when
didn't really
give my hand.
Take my hand, yes.
Yeah. And then he was like, no, fuck that. I'm going to rule this galaxy with an iron fist.
I'm going to kill my... Yeah.
You can join me or you're going down too.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with Luke was like, it's all like, I failed you. I'm sorry. I'm sure you are. Like, I don't care about that anymore.
Well, yeah, Luke said, I'm not here to save him. I'm here to kill him.
It felt like at the end of that movie, everyone was like, this is who we are.
He's the villain.
Moving on.
We didn't need Palpatine. You had a villain in Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think Kylo Ren would have been a good villain. I've seen people like, oh, he couldn't be a villain. I'm like, why not?
Yeah, people are mad because he was like the edgy teen. Yeah. But like, he could have been
he can't be a villain. Oh, Snoke could have been with his goofy face.
Hey, the man had a golden robe, okay?
Who cares? I did not. I gotta say, I love, what's his name?
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis.
Great actor.
I thought this was a terrible performance. I didn't like the voice. I didn't like the choice of. I didn't like it at all. I did not think Snoke was good.
It wasn't him.
It felt too corny. I think also it was like a CGI villain.
Yeah.
It was not working with Snoke. They had to get rid of him. I'm happy he was like not in this movie.
Yeah.
So they disappear. They go back to Not Yavin to celebrate. Oh, so Leia disappeared too. So I didn't
at this point she disappeared. Her dead body was there for hours.
Yeah, I didn't get it. Like, is she alive?
She should have disappeared on the spot.
It really makes sense to me.
Because she was clearly strong with the Force.
Which is my theory that this whole time Kylo Ren was like a Force projection. He was an imaginary character. We've seen with Luke and Yoda, they can interact. I think that's my canon. Kylo Ren is not real.
So when was he not real? Has he been 3 movies? Never real.
He's never been real.
Then how did Han die? Was there just a floating lightsaber?
Because Han wasn't real either.
Woo! There you have it.
So they go back to Not Yavin to celebrate. They have a hug. Okay.
Yeah, it was just a weak hug. They looked at each other. They like...
Yeah.
Finn being the best character of these three, he like actually looked like he was legitimately crying.
We'll talk about Finn.
We'll get to Finn.
She goes to Tatooine, buries their lightsabers. I don't know why she buried Leia's there. She has no connection to that planet. She stepped foot on it once to save Han. That was it. I didn't get the connection.
She was abused on that planet.
Yeah.
She was a slave.
Yeah.
And that gave us some of the greatest, Star Wars lore in history. Slave Leia. And where would we be without that?
And it got
Thank you, George.
Yeah. Star Wars girl, fake Star Wars girl.
Thank you for deciding that there were no bras in space.
Yes. Well, there was bra, obviously, in that costume. So she buries lightsabers. She
makes her own out of her staff.
Yeah. Which I'm going back with the look. I don't like that. It's like weird. Like it looks like a piece of junk. Like it's like black. It looks like used
If you're gonna
parts.
say it right. What a piece of junk.
Oh.
See?
Touche. I didn't hear that. I didn't even think about that. So it looked like it's double-sided, but she didn't use double.
No.
It had
I'm
weird,
going to assume that it was her full staff, but just one side of the lightsaber.
Maybe. It's yellow.
I like that it was yellow.
Yeah.
It was nice to actually see a fourth color in these films. Out of all the films.
Purple.
Red, blue, purple, green, yellow.
So she lights it. Some hobo person's like, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah, just
just some person walking in the desert.
The Lars family lived in the middle of nowhere. They were miles away from Tashi Station.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, what are you doing here? She's like, I'm Rey. Looks over, sees Force Ghost, Leia, and Luke. And she's like,
Rey who? I'm Rey Skywalker.
And the movie ends, and I gotta tell you, I don't know if I could jump. I could have jumped out of that seat any faster.
People were walking out at that.
I mean, I said to you, I was like, let's go. I got up, walked out of there.
Yeah. I knew it was over.
Yeah, I was like, just...
And then the final shot of all these films, we get the same, finale music as a few of the others. The last shot is Rey and BB-8, who she stole again. She stole something else from Poe.
She took BB-8 with her?
Yeah, BB-8 was with her.
Man, she really hates Poe.
Yeah, she really said,
She didn't take Dio?
No, she didn't take Dio.
It kind of makes sense.
And she didn't take R2, because who's he? He's not around.
No, he's not in these movies.
He's not important. No.
So...
May his memory live forever in my heart.
I really did not like this movie.
That's the thing. Yeah, we get the two moons, the two suns.
Yeah.
In front of BB-8 and Rey. It was just like, don't do that.
Why you? Like, that you can't...
Why you? Yes.
That was in the last movie with Luke.
That could have been Luke. Yes, Luke had the two suns.
You can't do that in both movies.
No. Or if you're going to do it, it should have been the ghost of Luke and Leia or something.
Were there two suns on Tatooine?
There were two suns on Tatooine.
I'm sorry, not Tatooine.
On Ahch-To, there were.
Oh, no, Jakku.
I doubt it.
Yeah, because I was like, what?
Wait, what's Jakku? You mean Tatooine too?
I said Tatooine too, you didn't get me. You said, oh, you mean Jakku?
I'm sorry. I'm angry.
I know, just you love him so much.
I hate that he's being abused.
So, I really want to get into. I've talked about the ships, which I'm so pissed that they were so cheap on that.
Yeah.
Finn, what happened, man?
Finn has just been in a downfall since The Force Awakens.
I really try not to talk about Finn during this, but throughout this movie,
because he deserves.
I want to.
John Boyega, you deserve better if you're listening.
He was my favorite character this trilogy. Or he was until he kind of stopped being a character. He was.
So you mean the first movie?
You get a little bit of a character.
A little bit.
So he kept trying to tell Rey, like, hey, I have something to tell you.
Yeah. So at first we were all led to believe that he was going to say, I love you.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. Because they had vibes in the first movie. I thought they were going to get together by the end.
It's kind of been confirmed that he was Force sensitive.
Yeah, JJ said somewhere else, not in the movie, he said that he was going to tell her that he was Force sensitive.
Which I was like, okay, I don't mind that you cut that out, but cut out the other scenes. Because throughout the movie, he's like, I want to tell you something. Hey, I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
And he never said anything to her.
Yeah, he says it once, and then they make a joke of it. Paul's like, you're going to tell her now?
I guess it was off-screen on not,
Yeah, like, now you're going to tell her, or do I need to not be
man,
here?
I was so bummed out. Pin had such an amazing...
I like that he was Force sensitive, though. It's just a shame that we didn't get that, because there was one nod in The Force Awakens. When Starkiller Base blew up the 5 planets, he somehow knows it's happening. He hears people screaming. He looks up, and he sees the laser blowing up the 5 planets.
I don't know about that.
It was very faint, but people caught that early.
Like, I'm not saying make him the main character, but like a fallen stormtrooper, that's an interesting character.
That's a great character.
I think the movie should have been Kylo as the bad guy, and Rey and Finn as the two Jedi being trained.
That would have been great. Can you imagine? And let's just say that Ben still becomes good by the end of the movie. How cool would it have been if it was Ben?
Well, no, I think it would work. I think it couldn't have worked if it was all three.
That's true. It would have been Ben. I mean, Kylo Ren would have been the bad guy, and it would have been Rey and Finn fighting him at the end. That would have been cool.
So the Skywalker line is officially dead.
Yeah, it died.
It means nothing to me because I just look at it like, man, they really don't want to make any more Star Wars Skywalker movies. That's what it seemed like. It was like, he's dead. There's no more left. There'll never be any more. Don't ask us.
Don't ask us, exactly.
What it feels like.
Yeah, no, they just needed it to be done with.
Yeah.
And,
this movie felt like
not a goodbye.
It felt like stop.
Yeah.
Here's the last of this movie.
But they're the ones that started this. They're the ones that wanted to make more Skywalker movies.
So we won't touch your precious movies. You can watch the movie and be done with it. Enough.
Yeah, kind of like how after Solo bombed, they were like, well, you know what? Now you don't get any more movies.
Yeah.
This was kind of like, oh, you like Skywalker? You're mad we didn't do it the way you want? You're not getting any more.
I think TV is their future.
TV is the future.
But I'm really not looking forward to Cassian Andor's show. I'm really not looking forward to the Cassian Andor show.
Yeah, it's just there's no need for that.
Yeah.
If that's a 6-episode miniseries, fine. But even then, I'm not like...
I don't want season 2. I don't want to know how he met the droid.
I don't need to know that. I don't want to know.
I don't care about that.
Is it going to start when he's, entered that fight when he was 6 years old?
Do what Battlefront should have done. Show me a story about a hardcore Imperial.
That doesn't turn good.
Yes, that
stays evil.
Yes.
Iden Versio was her name in Battlefront.
It doesn't matter. Podcast. So, this movie, to me, waste of Finn.
Total waste of Finn.
Poe was kind of there. It was whatever.
Poe became the slapstick guy.
Yeah.
Finn was the slapstick guy last movie. This time it was Poe.
Rey and Kylo, I felt, was kind of wasted.
Yeah. They started building something, I guess, with The Last Jedi. With the whole, they were connected.
The whole movie just felt rushed. And
it was extremely rushed. A 2.5-hour movie was still rushed.
There's no way Palpatine was planning to be in these movies. He didn't belong in this movie.
He did not.
It felt like 2 movies in one.
It was.
It just didn't...
Should it have been split in 2?
We talked about that a little bit about episode 9 part 1, episode 9 part 2. Maybe.
I don't think it would have made it better, but maybe it would have been less of a clusterfuck.
Yeah, and it would have been less of what's happening.
Exactly. You could have had one movie that kind of showed us how we got to this point, instead of learning it through the opening crawl.
This movie answers every question you have in The Force Awakens, and at the same time answers not a single goddamn question for The Force Awakens. Because it's all who's my parents? Palpatine's kids.
Yep.
What? Don't ask about it. Don't worry.
Don't worry about it. It happened.
Where did Maz Kanata get his lightsaber? That's a good question. She also has Han Solo's medal.
Oh, the medal! The medal!
Maz Kanata, also terrible character. Just like the Hobbit.
This was they tried. Yeah, they tried to make Maz Kanata like this trilogy's Yoda, because she was older and knew the Force, but wasn't a Jedi.
Yeah.
She's
I
like,
think it's hinted that she's Force sensitive.
She's Force. Yeah, she knows the Force, but
it
it's
makes
just
no sense why she has these things, why she's there. I didn't like her character.
I did not like her character.
It was just. I think, and this movie also does not work as a trilogy.
No, this these last 3 movies, there's 2, Episode 7 and Episode 9.
Yeah.
You can like we said, you can really watch Episode 7. There should just be a 20-minute thing. Episode 8, Rey goes to the island. Luke trains her for 5 minutes. Luke dies.
I could sort of watch
Kylo Ren
7.
snaps on Snoke and kills him, and that's it.
I could sort of watch Episode 7 in this Episode 8. I can't watch. There's no Episode 8 and Episode 9 do not connect.
There's no.
Like it's just there's
no way we can watch all 3 of these movies together. I don't watch
Episode 8 and 9 and be like, these are understandable. Like it's understandable how these characters went from here to here. It's just like
add up.
Yeah. Like, why does Finn not want Rose around? Why do the main 3 characters kind of hate each other? Why is Kylo back to like I don't know what I want to do anymore?
Yeah. What happened in 6 months that he became a whiny kid again?
It's just, it just doesn't, it's not good to me.
How did Ghost Luke grow his hair that long? You know?
A ghost time.
Ghost time. I like that. Can you write a novel about that? Because we get novels for everything.
I mean, Ghost Vader made himself younger.
Did. Ghost Anakin, excuse yourself.
He's updated me. So
that's... Where were our Force ghosts in this? How would you have felt of seeing, like, Hayden Christensen?
Doing what?
Talking to Rey in that scene. Get up, Rey. You know, you can do this. Him and Ewan McGregor.
I will say I don't see a place that Anakin or Hayden Christensen really would have fit in. Like, why is he talking to these people?
Yeah.
Why is he talking to them now?
Yeah. He should have been used in this trilogy.
Yeah,
he could have very easily
mentioned more. Like, if he showed up in this movie,
he could have shown. He could have shown himself to like Kylo Ren at one point. Like, hey,
I would have had
like Vader. He's a fucking asshole.
Like, there's no reason why he would have waited that long. It just, I think it was right not to have him in it.
Yeah,
have him in Obi-Wan.
Have
him in Obi-Wan. He didn't fit this movie trilogy.
Yeah, let's hope he's in the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Yes, did you see Ray Park?
Ray Park said he's going to be in it?
He put out a picture of him and Darth Maul wake up.
No way.
Yeah, so no one knows what that means.
Do you think they'll redo that Rebel scene where they fight each other one last time? I'd be okay with that.
Of course you would. You didn't watch the goddamn show.
But I know that scene.
It's not what's matter to you. You don't watch the show. You would have invested.
Who says I won't watch it one day?
Will you?
I might.
That's huge now. Well, no, I'm not going to watch it. James didn't direct it.
Damn. What a waste.
So, that's our thoughts on the trilogy. That's our thoughts on this movie. Anything else to add?
No, it's,
Well, thank you for your opinion, Brett.
It'll just be a matter of what could have been, not versus what we got.
I think a couple of years from now, there'll be a lot of stuff that talks about behind the scenes, what thoughts, and we'll have